Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is where you are joining me from today. I welcome you to Speak It with Zoliswa, and as usual, my name is Zoliswa Cheche, and I'd like to just share with you a little bit of a story that has sparked the topic for the conversation of the day today. So, my friend and I were having a conversation this beautiful Saturday morning over the telephone, and so we went on and on about some piece of information that has come to her attention and a matter that she had to deal with in one aspect of her life. So as she stopped the car at home, her son came into the car. And of course, we're having this conversation. Her phone is connected to the speaker of the car. And so he eavesdropped. He came into the car as we were talking about knowledge and how dangerous it can be to have knowledge and problematic at the same time. And so he asked, what is knowledge? He is 6 years old. He is at that age. You should never lie to a child, any age of a child. But the age of 6, as far as I'm concerned, having experience as a mother, you do not lie to a child at that age at all. And we had to give him an answer. It was safer for me at that stage to say that, I'm not sure how best to explain to you, Indalo, as to what knowledge is. I'm going to have to think about it, and then I will come back to you and explain it to you in detail in a language that you are going to understand. So that has sparked the conversation for today as to what is knowledge really. Knowledge is nothing other than the awareness of information or an understanding of something that you didn't know before, something that was not in your perimeter before, you now coming to the realization of what it is, how things are, and maybe with that knowledge, you then begin to appreciate why things are the way they are. So that is knowledge in a nutshell. So what do we do with the knowledge? What do you do with a piece of information that you have now in the light of the other circumstances around you that have been prevailing in your life? At the time when Indalo called on us, we were saying that knowledge is problematic in the context of the conversation that we were having. So knowledge can be your advantage. It can also be a disadvantage. The reality about or around the issue of what knowledge is remains really up to you to decide. It can be your friend, it can be your enemy. It can lead you to take steps in a certain direction that's going to be supportive. It can also lead you, if you choose, to take steps towards a way that's going to be destructive in your life, depending on what you are going through at that time. So how do I make knowledge my friend, especially in the midst of the circumstances that are not very favorable to me? Knowledge gives context to what's happening. So knowledge says that this is the picture and this is the result or the reason behind what you are seeing in your perimeter at this stage. Now, when you become aware, you will remember that from the previous videos that awareness is a trigger. Awareness says to you, this is the current situation. And from here on, remember, to the extent that you are alive, to the extent that you are still able to take a breath in, and breathe out, you have a responsibility to take action so as to move your life forward. The only time that you will stop doing anything in as far as developing your life is concerned would be when you are no longer able to breathe. So to the extent that you are able to breathe, you always going to have circumstances that are going to show you what are the next steps that you should take depending on where you would like to take your life towards. Yes? So what do you do with the information in the light of the circumstances that are prevailing and that are not serving or are not favorable to you? Information says, I do not like what I see, or knowledge says, I do not like what is happening in front of me, and therefore I'm going to do something about it. Remember the I in the whole context. You are the CEO of your own life. You are the captain of that ship, the captain of your soul. You are the one who masters your life. And as such, whenever there is a circumstance that is prevailing or a situation that is presenting itself before you, the first person that have some level of power to do something is yourself. Why am I assigning all of this huge responsibility to you? It is because if you allow yourself that power, if you tell yourself that I have a responsibility to change what is in front of of me. Then you also maintain the control, because you can be the control freak of life. I've been one, and it didn't really work, because when you try to control everything that is external to you, it may not work, because whatever it is that you are trying to control is going to resist, and resisting is as good as fighting back. It's going to resist by attacking you, and this becomes a battle, a difficult battle that you may not be able to win or to succeed in. But if you are saying that I have a responsibility and I am going to manage and control me, I'm going to control myself, then you have an easier chance at dealing with the battle that is in front of you, because you have the control over this entity that you are. So information says to you, this is the current reality. That is what is happening, or rather, this is what's happening in front of you in your life at the moment. Which direction would you like to take? Now that this has been presented to you and it has been brought forth to your awareness, what are you going to do? This is now sitting in your proverbial hand. What are you going to do with what you have? How are you going to capitalize on it? How are you going to step on it, even with resiliency, if that's what it means, so as to get to the next stage of your life? So that is what we do with different pieces of information, really, that we are presented with, we are bombarded with every day, every hour, and every minute, as well as every second of our life, by way of our thoughts, by way of what we see, what we hear, what we sense, with all the senses that have been given to us, by way of what we perceive, how we reason, the logic that we bring into things. It all comes as a result of knowledge, the information, the awareness, the understanding of different things that are coming to us, which we can find different pieces that we can isolate and capitalize on, depending on what it is that we would like to bring forth in our lives. So is it good to know? Would you like to know? What if you were kept in the dark and you didn't know what was happening at all? Just imagine not knowing anything, blank slate, and you are just living your life. How would that be for you? I wouldn't want it. If I were to choose between knowing absolutely nothing, whether it is in an effort to protect me from whatever, or knowing something and doing something about the knowledge that I have, I would choose the latter. I would rather know, because when I have the knowledge that has been presented to me by the different pieces of information that are coming from the stimuli that are around me, then I sift, I choose, and I decide which of those pieces of information I'm going to stomach, I'm going to palate, I'm going to digest, and what I am going to leave out as some chaff out of this wheat. I decide how I'm going to use the information that has been given to me. So it's important to go after information and to expand and increase the world of knowledge in different aspects of your life. I know so many things. However, I know very little about so many things. It is advisable that you have some little level of knowledge about almost everything that is happening around you, because the little knowledge that is going to be attracted to you is the little knowledge that is linked to your why. It is that little knowledge that is going to contribute to whatever entity that you would like to bring forth, that you would like to create, that you would like to expand and increase in this universe that we are living in. So continue acquiring knowledge, continue going after knowledge and sifting, leaving what doesn't serve you, however, being aware of what is the knowledge that is available in the universe. We have all sorts of platforms to find knowledge from today, so it's no longer an excuse not to know. Go out there, get knowledge. Knowledge is power. But I also advocate that only if you use the knowledge with the correct understanding of where you would like to go, will it serve you as even more of a power. If you just have knowledge and you just shove it there and not do anything about it, then it is as powerful as the corner that is sitting on. But if you utilize it, if you find a way of processing it and making it into the output that you would like to see in this world, then power to you, power to the people. As usual, I love hearing from you. Please remember to leave your comments at the bottom here so that I know that we are together. And please stick around and continue subscribing. There are a whole lot more of other videos that are coming that are inspired by the requests that the people that are part of this community are asking for. So up until the next video, remember to keep building your dream.